It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Yes, this cough is still there after a week and a half. It's the absolute worst. So, little PSA: don't get COVID. Don't. From first-hand perspective, don't get COVID. Wear a mask, get vaccinated, stay away from sick people. Do whatever. Don't get COVID. It's not fun. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the Black Phone. So as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So let's get to it. Pros. There's no direct competition for this movie at all. That's easily the biggest pro. The last horror movies to come out were at the beginning of the month with Watcher and Crimes of the Future, and they barely released at all. They were barely wide releases. And since then, like before then, like what did we really have? Men, Firestarter. I don't even remember before X. um, there's some real obscure Amma. Yeah, things have been real. There's some real slim pickings this year when it comes to horror, at least so far. The only horror movie that's done substantially well was Scream 5, and that was way back in January. So yeah, it's been a long while since we've had a big horror movie or a real successful horror movie, you know, to be released. And this definitely ticks all the right boxes when it comes to being a successful horror movie. And having no competition definitely helps. At least no direct competition. Yes, there's general competition, and we'll talk about that when we get to the cons. But when it comes to direct competition, nothing to worry about until Nope. And that's not till four weeks from now. So this should be fun. So yeah, yeah. No direct competition, that's a pro. Another pro are the reviews for this movie. They are quite good. I forgot the exact um rating. I'm gonna check real quick off screen. Last I checked, the score was in the 80s. It may be wrong. It may have gone down since. It's still in the 80s. Okay, it's at 86%, which, I mean, I don't know how anyone can see that as a bad thing. And apparently, its audience reception is also pretty darn good, 93%. So, this movie has good reviews and good word of mouth. Easy pro. Very easy pro right there. So, it doesn't have to deal with, like, any divisiveness surrounding it. So, that's a pro. Another pro is our main star here, Ethan Hawke. Now, Ethan Hawke, he's had quite the career, quite a lengthy career. He's been in a lot of stuff ever since freaking like the main movie people recognize him from originally is Training Day. Since then, he's been quite a bit of stuff. Trying to look through the here, Sinister. Which, funny enough, the director of Sinister has directed The Black Phone too. So yeah, there's Sinister, The Purge, whole lot, Boyhood, whole lot. It's kind of overwhelming how much he's done. The Northman, that was like his most recent movie, and he has just a lot of geek cred overall. And even though you don't really see his face in the marketing, that mask he's wearing, that creepy ass mask he's wearing, that is attention grabbing. Like you see that, like a poster of that, and you're just like, whoa, okay, that's unsettling. And it makes you interested in watching the movie. That's what happened with me when I saw what Ethan Hawke looked like in this movie. I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'll watch this. So yeah, I think Ethan Hawke, a more or less unrecognizable Ethan Hawke with his whole get up here, I think is a pro. Because like with a horror movie, like with some horror movies, you really need like a really good antagonist, an attention grabbing antagonist. You know, with like a somewhat iconic look or memorable look, like say a hockey mask, like with Jason, or like a William Shatner mask with Michael Myers, something like that. And I think this has that. So, yeah, that's a pro. Um, any other pros I can think of? I mean, uh, mm, uh, those like the main ones. I think that's it. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. I just went over all the main ones. Okay, cons. The biggest con for this movie. Oh wait, it's Thursday preview numbers. Gosh, how could I forget that? That's a fourth pro. Its Thursday preview numbers are quite strong for a movie like this. It did 3 million, which I say is a pretty solid number for like a non-franchise horror flick. I mean, if we can want to compare this to other movies, I mean, what do we really have? I mean, I guess we can choose some of the horror movies that came out like last year. Like, this isn't a great comparison because it's a franchise movie, but it came out around the same time last year. The Forever Purge. Its Thursday previews were 1.3. So this is more than double that. So I say that's a good sign. It's also better than Candyman last year, which is again great sign. So yeah, strong Thursday preview numbers, pro. Okay, now we're getting to the cons. The biggest con for this movie isn't reviews or word of mouth, it's competition. General competition. Because also coming this weekend is Elvis, which is getting a little more attention. Not to mention we have just a whole bunch of big movies that are still out. Top Gun Maverick, obviously. Jurassic World Dominion, obviously. I don't know about Lightyear. I think that movie's DOA at this point. But it's still there. It still exists. And not to mention movies coming out next few weeks. Minions 2 next week. Thor Love and Thunder the week after that. It's gonna be a lot, and I'm kind of afraid this movie's gonna like fall through the cracks. But I don't see that happening right now. But I'm still worried that may be a possibility. So yeah, general competition is a bit of a con here for this movie. I hope it's not too much of a con, but it's still a con. The other con, it's related to the thumbnail of the video where I mentioned bad timing. Yeah, this movie comes out like a good month after, what happened in Texas, like the very, very tragic school shooting that happened in Yuledale. I think that's how you say Yuledale. I forgot. In that school. And this movie revolves around the abduction and, killing of kids. And I was thinking, I don't know if it's a great idea to release this type of movie after tragedy like that. It seems like very bad, or at least not so great timing. Granted, it's not the first time this has happened when it comes to like a movie coming out during like tragedy. Obviously, Columbine. That affected some movies. Scream 3 had to be edited. It had to be like edited down, like toned down because of it. And obviously this movie couldn't have been edited like so soon. Like it was literally gonna come out in a month. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that would be a bit of a turn off for some audiences. Maybe like a too soon type thing, but it seems like that's not the case. So, I don't know. But yeah, I might as well just mention that as a potential con, very minor con, that I don't even think is going to really play out this weekend. So, yeah, that's con number 2. Is there anything else? Any other cons? No, I can't think of any. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Opening weekend. The official predictions were like between 10 to 15 to 20. But after this Thursday preview number, I think it's going to go a little higher than that. I think it's going to overperform a bit. Not by a lot, but a bit. So I think it's going to have an opening between 20 and 25 million. I think it's going to be just that tad front loaded, maybe like a tad front loaded. But it'll still have a very solid debut. Between 20 and 25 million. It's total. I'm gonna guess between 60 and 70 million dollars. I think that's reasonable for this movie. That'd be very solid for this movie. It'd be only the second horror movie this year to actually make money. The first being Scream 5. So yeah, that's what I think is gonna happen. So yeah, that's the the Black Phone. That's not the only movie coming out this weekend, though. As I already mentioned, we got Elvis. I got to talk about that next. And that's it for the weekend. That's it for June. It was very, well, it wasn't a whole lot going on in June. But what did happen was very interesting. And it's going to be I just know my recap video is going to be something. When I talk about what happened in June, so stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for my Elvis video too. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. Want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage, fill with all previous prediction videos I made this year. When it comes to horror movies, I did Scream 5, I've done X, I've done Firestarter, Men, Crimes of the Future. I pressed the wrong thing. Watcher, a bunch of others. Really one main horror movie and the rest just exist. So if you want to watch any of those videos, you can. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I covered the Black Phone twice because this was supposed to come out in February and then it got pushed to June. So I covered it twice. Forgot the first episode. I covered it. It was 80 something. Maybe 81. I'm going to check off screen again very quickly. I know it was in the it was in the 80s. And I did it in October. So about to find it off screen. As soon as it loads. Ugh. Gosh, stupid computer. But I know I talked about it with Hotel Transylvania 4. I talked about it with that movie. So go find it. Go find that. And I also talked about it like right at the end of the year. It was okay. Now it's loaded. Was it 80? It was 83. It was 83. That was the first time I talked about it. 83. Second time I talked about it was episode 97, where I also talked about Blue Beetle, Flash Train to New York, Toto. So yeah, I talked about it then too. So those are the two cancel episodes where I mentioned it. So if you want to watch those episodes or any others I've done, all 133 episodes, including all at this point. The most recent one I did was it yesterday? I don't remember. I think it was Tuesday. No, it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. So want to watch that and all the other cancel episodes I've done. Binge them from beginning to now. I highly encourage it. Go right ahead. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. June recap, that's coming out in between Minions 2 and Thor Love and Thunder. Should be a very interesting video. Maybe not a long video or ultra long video, but there's quite a bit to discuss when it comes to certain movies. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.